Hello and welcome to edupediaworld.com. In today's video, we will talk about another factor which affects the environment, and this is population growth. So we're going to talk about population growth today, how the population is increasing, what is overpopulation, and how is it affecting our environment, right? So as we know that overpopulation today is a very undesirable condition. And this is a condition where the number of existing human population, it exceeds the amount of the carrying capacity of the earth. And what happens because of overpopulation? When overpopulation occurs, then that means there are a large number of people who are staying on this planet, on this earth. This overpopulation will want lot of food to be consumed, right? So overconsumption will take place. So overpopulation and overconsumption, they underlie every problem that we are facing today, right? Overpopulation is caused by number of factors. Since ages, as the population is growing, the industrialization has set in. The urbanization is taking place, modernization is taking place, and the population is growing. So with more and more number of population on this earth, the requirement of food is also increasing. Now with this growth in the population, the environment is also getting affected, right? Environment means it is not just the population which are staying on this earth, but the affluence is also affecting the environment. On the other hand, we see that with the urbanization and modernization taking place, the technology is also nowadays very sophisticated. The technology is improving day by day. So this technology also has some effect on our environment, right? Now the technology, what I'm talking about here is a destructive technology. Of course, technology has its positive as well as negative effects on the environment. When I say positive effects, I mean the positive effects are actually to our lives. We are getting a better lifestyle today. Our work is getting done within no time because of the sophisticated technology. But this sophisticated technology has its negative effect on the environment. So that is why I call it a destructive technology, right? And also when I talk about affluence, it is not just the number of people that are staying on this earth who are affecting the environment, but their activities, their consumption of food, their requirements, their needs, their affluence is also affecting the environment. That is what I mean when I say the affluence of the people who are staying on this planet. So how can we talk about the impact on environment? The impact on environment because of population can be actually added as the impact because of technology, the impact because of affluence of people who are staying, and the impact because of the population, right? So this will give us a total impact on the environment, right? Now there are feedback loops also which we can study here. All these things like the environment, the affluence, the destructive technology, all these things will in turn have some effect on the environment and also the population that is growing day by day. There is another factor which we call the economic factors. So economic factors also play a major role as far as the environment is concerned. So now if the economy of any particular country is really doing well, then that means that the particular country is going to be consuming a lot of resources and a lot of habitat is going to be destructed, right? But in case the economy is not doing so well, then that means the resources are not going to be used, the resources are going to be conserved, and it will not be facing any kind of habitat destruction, right? So economic factors are also play a major role in deciding the impact on the environment. But on the other hand, if the economy is not really doing good, then it may lead to hunger and disease. So when we talk about the impact of the growth of the population on the environment, then all these factors will have to be studied, right? Now let's talk in detail more about the impact of population growth on the environment. And the first that comes to our mind is industrialization. Industrialization is one of the key factors which serves as an important role as far as the development of any nation is concerned. And industrialization has been proved and analyzed that countries which are industrially much developed are also economically developed, right? And industrial development also leads to overall development of the country. But with all these positives with industrialization has a very, very negative impact on the environment. Why do I say so? Because burning of fossil fuel takes place. Because of industrialization, the burning of fossil fuel takes place, and non-renewable resources are also used, and these non-renewable resources are basically the resources which cannot be renewed. So when we keep using these non-renewable resources at a much faster rate, we will reach a point where these resources will get over. Also, another factor is pollution. There are a lot of pollution that is being caused. There are so many industries which has come up. There are so many factories. So the more the number of people, the more the number of requirement of jobs, the more will be the industries and factories which will be coming up, and hence there will be a lot of pollution. As you can see here, so much of pollution, the air pollution is being caused by these industries. And with this, the CO2 level is rising day by day. So industrialization is having a very, very negative effect as far as an environment is concerned, because so much of, toxic pollutants is being released in the air. Next is acid rain. Basically, what is acid rain? You can see here, these are the industries, and the industries are actually releasing very, very harmful gases such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides. These gases are released in the atmosphere, and these gases actually then becomes a part of these clouds which get condensed, and later when it rains, these harmful gases they come back on the earth. And this water, when it gets onto the ground and in even the water sources, the water source will also get polluted. The lands and the other fields on which this rain is taking place will also get polluted, right? So the harmful gases which are released from the industries again comes back down to the earth, and in some or the other way it reaches our body, right? And these are very harmful gases. So this is what is called as an acid rain. So acid rain is also one of the major impact that is caused because of the growth in the population. Next, acidification of lakes. This is also very much similar to what we talked right now about acid rain. The lakes and ponds can become so acidified that no life can live in them. And why is it so? Again, it is because of these industries and these factories that are coming up. You can see here the sulfur dioxide emission is taking place, and these gases again go and get condensed, and when the rain takes place, these gases again comes back down to the earth. Some of these gases are mixed in the water resources. This will again pollute the water and also affect the wildlife that are staying in the water, for example the fish and the other sea animals. And when we humans consume these animals, these fishes, then some amount of these pollutants also is absorbed by our body also, and these gases are very, very harmful. So as the population is growing with industrialization, the harmful pollutants, these harmful gases are transferred from one organism to the other organism, from one tropic level to the other tropic level, and it finally reaches the human body, right? So the industrialization in one way is not good. The growth of the population in one way is not good as far as our environment is concerned, and as far as the population which is staying on this earth is concerned. Next is deforestation. Deforestation is also one of the major impact, which is a negative impact on the environment, because now the population is growing drastically. So this population requires that much of land to stay. The population requires a land for themselves to get settled down, and that is why day by day so many trees have been cut down in order to build new homes, right? So what is happening is, now because the forests have been cut down, what happens to the wildlife that is staying in the forest? The wildlife will have to migrate to some other area, and this leads to loss in the biodiversity. The species are getting extinct these days, right? Man is hunting those valuable animals, those valuable species, just because of their feathers, their skin, and other important parts. We see loss of biodiversity taking place because of growth in the population. Another serious effect is loss of oxygen producers and CO2 eliminators. Now that these trees have been cut down, the forests have been cleaned. So the trees were the ones who were taking the carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen, and basically they act as purifiers of the environment. Now if we cut down these trees, the purification process is also affected. So the CO2 eliminators are no more there. So this is again a very, very negative impact on the environment. So with the growth in the population, we see that deforestation is taking place, and ultimately the environment is getting polluted. Another impact on the environment is the use of herbicides and pesticides. As the population is increasing, the requirement of good food and quality product is more. The farmers nowadays are using a lot of herbicides and a lot of pesticides, but they spray pesticides and herbicides without knowing the consequences. They use DDT, but these pesticides and herbicides and DDT in turn, they will also be transferred into the food chain, and finally they are also reaching the human body, which is very, very harmful for the human body. Once we use the pesticides, after some time there are few pests which will get used to the pesticide, right? So in the next application of the pesticides, there will be few pests which will not die. They will still survive the pesticide, right? So what is happening is the pests are not getting killed, but these harmful products are being transferred to the human body via the food chain, right? Next is DDT. DDT is claimed to be a miracle because they say that it is very, very good for the crop and no effects on the human beings. It can build up in the environment and also can have biological, magnification. Okay, next is bioaccumulation. What is bioaccumulation? Bioaccumulation means it is, like you can see here, these are small fish will be eaten by slightly bigger fish, will be eaten by even larger fishes. So the harmful chemicals are transferred from one organism to the other organism. When we consume these fishes, these harmful elements will also get transferred into the human body. So this is known as, bioaccumulation. It happens in every food chain, accumulated to such levels in the top predators that it started having lethal effects, because day by day these harmful chemicals are transferred from one level to the other tropic level, and finally it reaches the human body, right? Endangered many species of birds, including our bald eagles also. Okay, next is ozone depletion. In the 80s, it came apparent that the ozone layer was disappearing because there was a hole in the ozone layer. And it was confirmed that it was directly caused by human activity because of the chlorofluorocarbons that were emitted Because of that, it had created a hole in the ozone layer. The hole in the ozone was actually dedicated to the harmful human activities, right? So again, this is a very, very negative impact on the environment, because this layer actually protects us from the UV rays that are coming from the sun. And if it has a hole in it, then over few more 100 years, this layer will get totally disappeared, and the UV rays will be directly hitting the surface of the earth, causing so many problems, especially the skin problems. Next is the CFCs, the chlorofluorocarbons, which were the main reason for that hole in the ozone layer. So the chlorofluorocarbons in the aerosols were leaking into the atmosphere and eating away the ozone layer. And freon is also a CFC. So these are also very, very harmful rays that were being emitted because of human activity on the surface of the earth, right? Next, a very, very evident and major impact of the growth of population on the environment is pollution. And when I say pollution, I mean it is water pollution, air pollution, land pollution, and noise pollution. What is water pollution? The untreated industrial wastes and the effluents, they are basically dumped into the nearby water bodies by the factories that led to water pollution. So all the waste get inside the water resources, and the industries polluting the water are basically chemical industries, paper industries, textile industry, dyeing, or some kind of oil and refinery, industries that are involved with electroplating. And this polluted water becomes, so much unfit for the human use and also for the irrigation. So in case this polluted water is used in the fields by the farmers for irrigation, then it will also have very, very harmful effect on the crop and ultimately on the humans that are consuming such crop. And this also affect the marine life that is, residing in the water, because ultimately the water will get polluted. So the fishes that are staying or the other animals that is staying in that particular water resource will also get affected. So such water, when it is used by human beings, it leads to different waterborne diseases. The harmful substance pass into the food products when it is used for irrigation, right? When we talk about air pollution, it is very, very clear that these industries and the factories that have come up because of industrialization is releasing such harmful gases. For example, the sulfur dioxide, the nitrogen oxides, and these gases are very, very harmful for the human beings because it pollutes the air in which we are staying in, right? Next is land pollution. Of course, when the population will increase, there will be poverty. People will keep throwing their waste. There is no proper waste management programs. With increase in the population, every resource will get limited and at a particular time. As the time is passing, every resource is going to be limited because the rate of the growth of population is very high. And this rate of population growth is even much higher than the rate of the production of our food, of our resources, the rate of replenishment and reproduction of the resources. So everything is going to be limited in the future, right? Next is noise pollution. Noise pollution is caused by the industrial and the constructional activity, or you can say the machineries or the factory equipments or the generators and the pneumatic drills which are taking place in our vicinity. And noise pollution also results in a lot of irritation and anger in the humans, hearing impairment, and increase in the heart rate and also blood pressure. So there are other health problems, health related issues that come up because of noise pollution. Okay, now that we have discussed water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, land pollution, in the case of land pollution, it is not just the number of people and the poverty which is caused because of these people. But when I say land pollution, it is also caused by the presence of some man-made chemicals or other alteration in the natural soil environment also. And this type of contamination typically rises from the rupture of underground storage tanks and application of pesticides and the oils and the fuel dumping also. So anything which makes the soil polluted, anything which makes the land polluted, that will come under land pollution, right? Even if it is a discharge of some industrial waste into the soil, will also come under land pollution, right? So major impact of pollution which is so very evident is the pollution, the land pollution, air pollution, noise pollution and water pollution. Now next is global warming. Why is the global warming taking place? Because of the increase in the CO2. And why is there an increase in the CO2? Because we are not planting trees. In fact, we are deforesting, right? We are cutting off all the trees, and that's why there is so much of CO2 in the environment. So with the increase in the CO2, there will be increase in greenhouse gases, greenhouse effect. And this increases the temperatures globally, and this is called global warming. So global warming, that means the temperature of the earth is increasing. Over the years, if you measure the temperature, even the facts will show you that the temperature of the earth is increasing. That is because of global warming. So I hope in this video you've understood what is population growth, how the population has been growing over the past few years, and what are the harmful effects of the growth of the population on the environment. See, one thing we have to understand, that whether it is over exploitation of resources, or it is population growth, or it is industrialization, globalization, or use of any synthetic material, all these are actually interrelated. And the major problem of all these issues with the environment is only because we do not have any control over our population. The population has been increasing exponentially. The rate of increase of the population is much higher than the rate of production of the food or rate of replenishment of the resources. So everything starts from the growth of population. Because there is a growth in the population, there is industrialization. Because there is industrialization, there is a lot of competition. And because there is a lot of competition, there is overexploitation and is causing a very harmful effect on the environment. So I hope you've understood what are the impacts of population growth on the environment. In the next video, we will talk about industrialization and why industrialization is good, why industrialization is not good for the environment, and also we will talk something about the synthetic materials. So thank you for watching Edupedia World videos.